Okay, let's get started. Content marketing, planning a lead generation campaign, part of our Grow series. So, what is a lead generation campaign in the first place? Well, bottom of the line, it's a campaign that is a strategic initiative designed to attract and capture potential customers for a business's products or service. The primary goal is to gather contact information such as email addresses or phone numbers from individuals interested in what the business offers. These campaigns often employ various marketing tactics such as content creation, social media engagement, or special promotions to entice the target audience. So, by creating valuable interactions and incentives, ideally the business wants to build a pool of leads, right? Like this is part of the funnel process into the leads that can be nurtured and converted into customers through subsequent marketing efforts. So, it really is that middle of the funnel right before conversion. So successful lead generation campaigns not only increase a business's reach, but also provide a means to establish meaningful connections with potential clients, ultimately contributing to business growth. So, little picture, of course, we have to do some infographics. This is a picture of a customer. Your customers have questions. You are going to educate them. This is the whole part of the converting process. So we have a customer with questions. And the lead magnet is part of the lead campaign you need to create. So you're going to be answering those questions or being a resource and providing information. And part of the lead generation campaign is this lead magnet. So you're going to hear that term a bit. So we're going to create a lead magnet. It might be a white paper. There'll be different things, and we're going to come to the different types. But for this, it's customer lead magnet. Next, we have to create a landing page, right? Like somehow we have to focus them, or we should be focusing them to a place, a portal where we can collect that information, whether it's the email or phone number, whatever that might be. With the ultimate goal that you're going to get those leads and you're going to reach out to them, right, as part of your sales process. This is where marketing and sales really come together. So you can phone them or you're going to email them. Ultimately, you want to be able to connect with them. And if you're a service organization or a product, maybe you're doing B2B work. So this really is, this example is more focused on B2B. But if you are B2C, it just might not have that human interaction. Like there's could be an automation. But for the sake of this, the whole idea is you're going from a lead magnet, you're going to collect information, you're going to then reach out and respond to the information you collected to then ultimately create an interaction where sales comes in and converts. The whole idea of this is you've created this lead magnet, you're following up with the leads, you're engaging with them through the sales process, and ultimately you're going to make the sale. So this is just this quick idea of what a lead generation is. So the different types of lead campaigns would be this content marketing campaign. That's kind of what we talked about. The ebook, you're going to do blog posts, white papers, all of that to attract, inform, and then get those leads, which means they're interested. If they're going to give you an email, that means you've already enticed them, you've qualified them through some forms, and then they've taken the content. So now it's a chance to follow up. So that's a content marketing campaign, a popular one. We also have webinars and workshops. So you can host an event. So when you do, if you host a webinar, it comes through, you are going to capture information in the registration process, which would be your gateway, right? Encouraging participants to provide their contact information. So no matter what, that's the goal. Referral programs are incentives for existing clients or contacts to refer new leads to your business, and that would still be considered a lead gen campaign. Then this is where we get into product a little bit more. So we're going to design a dedicated landing page with an offer or discount, prompting visitors to submit their details in exchange for exclusive benefits. So it comes at it a little bit different. But basically, if they're going to subscribe to your email, that's probably the most logical, right? You know how you do a pop-up at the beginning and go, hey, sign up for our email. You're going to get a VIP and you're going to get 10% off. So that would still be considered a lead gen campaign. Pay-per-click advertising, run targeted ads on search engines or social media platforms, directing users to a specific landing page. So that is something we forget. Quite often we'll do a Google ad and then it'll just go to a product or it'll just go to another general page. But when it comes to a lead gen, you're going to promote it. It's going to do a whole advertising and it's going to come, you're going to create an entire landing page to make sure it's focused on selling that particular product. And that is where the lead comes in. It's more intentional. Live chat on your website, that can be considered a lead gen. So if you put a live chat on the bottom to engage with your visitors in real time and gather their contact information and ultimately follow up with them. Social media contests, and I think that's quite explanatory in itself. That also is things where you write, ask, sign up, do this, give us your information, and you will be entered into a contest. So those are just different types of lead gens. And of course, you need to have a plan, or you should have a plan. So lead generation campaign, what does that look like? Well, it starts out, we always have to know what our goals are, right? Make sure it's very specific. You're going to gather all the information. Maybe it's from a previous campaign. Maybe it's about your customers. Whatever that is, you have to get all the information, even other content, research other types of content that you might be able to pull from. Then you're going to create that lead magnet or a valuable resource and publish it, and ultimately create that landing page we talked about. And then you have to promote it. You have to tell people about it. And so always when you're doing the planning, where your ultimate goal is where it's specific, it has to be timely. So put that on the calendar and then make your plan and go backwards when it comes to promotional. Then you have to create and publish the promotional content. And then, of course, you have to track your performance metrics. And the last few are really important because that's when you put your sales hats on, right? You're going to follow up with your leads, review the results together. How well did it work for getting qualified leads? Did it qualify those leads? Were you able to follow it up? Was the forms working properly? Did it integrate with your CRM? That's all part of the sales and marketing starting to work together. And then 10, of course, is just building on your success for your next campaign. So let's focus quickly on the landing page. This is to get us ready. So part of the planning process, even before we go and create the landing page, which we're going to do in the next session, we actually have to figure out what we're going to put on the landing page. So let's consider some best practices. If you aren't familiar with Unbounce, it was one of the first, I do believe, but it's a popular landing page development site. Now, I'm always a fan of doing it within your website, creating the landing page within your website, because then you can start tracking all your Google Analytics, and it starts to increase from an SEO standpoint. However, there are some benefits, and some people do an external landing page site. You can use MailChimp, creates landing pages, and Unbounce is also one of them. There's pros and cons to both. So they've got a really good, check out this URL, and it's an example of what a good landing page should look like. Of course, you've got your logo and it's branded up in the top for this example. You also have a hero image. So your hero image is your main image that's going to sort of visually attract you, and it's relevant to whatever that campaign is going to be. Make sure you have an engaging headline and then a supporting headline underneath. And actually, I'm going to go back a little bit. This one's a little bit split out. Right underneath that is where you want to be able to capture it. So this is what they call top of the fold, right? You'll have to have that sign up area. So it's very easy for them to sign up. And that's where you're going to capture the information. It's a little bit grayed out, but it's sign up for a one-on-one demo they're showing. Then there's more description around what you're going to get. So really does support it. But if I had to look at this, I'm going to get all the information that I would need if I'm all ready to sign up. Now, if I don't quite have enough information, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And that's where you're going to have that call to action. is there. That's part of that quick, fill this out. That's that call to action. But also then we get the social proof. Now the social proof is, I'm not sure if I'm going to, it's really for me. What you want to make sure you put on there is somebody who has had success with whatever you're doing. So if it is a happy customer, someone else who has downloaded the information, whatever that might be, a comment from social, whatever, make sure it's approved, but it's a testimonial to support what you have done and you've been successful at it. And then the next thing is like, okay, well, it's still not quite enough. So now we want to go into those benefits. It's the features are underneath that, if you can see that. Remember, benefits trump features. You've got to have the features because they need the nitty gritty, but they really want to know, why is this good for me? Right? Like, what are you offering that's going to give me the benefit? So just your highlight, don't put everything, but the highlights there, and then finally those features. So that's a typical landing page. Doesn't have to be exactly laid out like this, but that is the nuts and bolts of it. And a tip on doing successful headlines, they've also mentioned this, it comes from them. Action words and clear benefits. When you're doing your headline, that's what pulls you in. I don't know if you've had that experience, but you really kind of go, oh, declutter your email. It's not, hey, this is a way to organize your email. Declutter is more of a term that you might use. Prioritize your focus, automate your day. Those are all outcomes and benefits you're going to receive by purchasing this software. And that's where you want to focus on your headlines. Okay, so landing page tips, just to recap, make sure you follow those design best practices. They're out there. There's a multitude of them. There is consistency across different organizations and design user experiences on what that looks like. So follow them. Be sure whatever you do is on brand. Make sure you get feedback. So if you've created a landing page, go and ask someone, especially your ideal client. It's like, does this work? And get them to run through the process. Incorporate it into your website. Make sure if you do have a landing page, that somehow that they can get back to your website, especially if you use an external organization. But even within your landing page, you want to keep it simple. You don't want them to be distracted. But if they want to, please allow them to go back to the website because maybe they still don't have enough information. So do somehow have a link back to the main page. Then create those forms. Make sure you integrate it and test it with your CRM. So if it's going within Squarespace, for example, you can keep it within Squarespace if that's your CRM. If it's going to go to HubSpot or some other external, make sure you do that. Perhaps it goes over to your email. Maybe it goes to MailChimp or MailerLite or whatever you use. So just make sure it's integrated properly and you test it. And then make sure you set up tracking goals. So because when you get into the promotional piece, you want to make sure you know what's working and what's not working. So make sure you go into Google Analytics or at least document how you're going to track it. So that's the landing page. So now we have to promote it. So spreading the word. Here we go. We're going to set goals, and this looks very similar, right? Set goals, gather resources, time, money, set some time away, define target audiences, plan your tactics, create that content. Make sure you think about that timeline. Like, don't just say, I'm going to do a lead generation campaign. I'm going to have it all up and I want, hundreds of emails by next week. Like, you have to be realistic and set those performance metrics. How are you going to know you're getting to where you want to go? Okay, so some quick tips on promotion, spreading the word. That's your landing page. You may also do things like a blog. You may do a webinar. You may do a podcast. All of those things are pretty large content, but really the ultimate goal is to promote that lead campaign. You also might be going to trade shows. Quite often, if ahead of time, if you are going to go to a show, marketing will step in and go, well, listen, let's capture those people that aren't quite sure and get them on our radar and pull those leads in. So that's why your calendar planning is really important. So if you're going to go out, you're going to give it to your sales team or yourself. Maybe you create some print items to give away that as a QR code that goes right to your lead gen page. Whatever that is, make sure you're prepared ahead of time. And then, of course, your standard social media. We're going to have email campaigns. Maybe you write an article on LinkedIn and maybe you throw some money against it and you put a budget. So that's all part of it. And then don't forget the very obvious part, the sales, because we're all salespeople, right? As soon as we're an entrepreneur, we have to sell. And it could be just calling people and saying, hey, I just wrote this and I was thinking about you. Or, hey, do you have time for a chat? And maybe this is part of what you follow up with. And then maybe you meet with them in person, whatever that might be, or you send them direct emails. That's kind of your sales piece. Don't forget that one-on-one. That really is that time to convert. So before we jump into the demo, this is what the demo is going to be. So Garden Grows, as all of you know, it's our company, right? So let's look at a sample lead gen campaign that you guys might recognize from something else. So no matter what, before all of this lead gen campaign we're talking about, a campaign, remember, is within a bigger plan. So it has to start within your plan. Please make sure it's part of your holistic plan because there may be opportunities to do multiple things and you want to be intentional to support your business goals. So it starts with your campaign and then you kind of pull it out and you go, okay, so it starts with my full plan. I'm going to do this campaign. It's a tactic that I'm going to do. So for this example, our business goal, remember, we are launching the landscape design services, and this is their goal overall. We have overall marketing goals, one of which is 500 email subscribers. They want to get signed up. They also want 200 book a call with a designer thing. So this for sure lead gen campaign totally makes sense, right? So you can actually do both, but for the simplicity, we're going to actually focus on the email subscribers as a start. So we want 500 email subscribers. So we've decided to create a lead magnet. And that lead magnet is this magazine that we're going to send out quarterly. And it's all about landscape tips. And throughout all of this is going to be building that thought leadership, the consideration. It's all of the people that really love gardening. And this is where we're going to start to nurture it and pull people in. So we want to capture their emails. So we have to set it up. That means the landing page, right? How are we going to do this? How is the flow going to go, the email journey once they sign up? And then how are we going to capture their leads? And that's going to be, well, through their email campaign program. And then, of course, we have to promote it, right? So we're going to do print stuff because they have a garden center. They're going to give that away. They're going to do flyers, in-store flyers. It's going to be at the point of sale. We're going to also do social media. We're going to do some advertising, a whole bunch of things around that. And that's it. So if anyone has not had a chance to find the marketing campaign, the QR code takes it right to our website. If you are a Grow Plus member, let us know. Let me know if you can't access it. You do have it free in behind your Grow portal.